it's fitting to me that you learned from the original source that so many of us learned from, the Dale Clemens custom thread art, and now we have a resource available like Visual Wrap and Visual Weave. So take me through that journey a little bit. We're going to spend the bulk of this episode getting into what Visual Weave and Visual Wrap, what that software does, and how it helps you and what you can do with that. You also have a brilliant little invention, the wrap sticks, right? Like, so you have these tremendous resources for builders. But was this just an extension of that passion for rod building, or was it the thread art in particular, or like, how did you get so involved in the decorative thread aspects?
Sure. I think what it boils down to is at heart, I think of myself as a crazy inventor. I just
Mhm.
love making stuff. It
Yep.
doesn't matter what it is. I mean, my current hobbies include 3D printing and
Yeah.
electronics and software and websites. It doesn't matter what it is. I just love making stuff.
Yeah.
And so reading the advanced custom mod building and the custom mod thread art books by Dale, there were instructions on there on how to make rod stands. So I made
Hmm.
a set of rod stands, and
Right.
I loved the thread art book, and I just wanted to, in my mind, I wanted to be the ultimate thread artist in the world because I did not know anyone else who was doing this, but
Right.
it felt like it was my little niche, and I
Yeah.
could become good at it. And I
Yep.
thought, okay, I started wrapping some patterns from the recipes in customized thread art,
Right.
and it took a long time.
Yep.
It could take me 6 hours following the recipe to find out patterns too big,
Too
colors don't
small, too
match,
compressed, too
too
elongated. Right.
small.
Yeah.
And I thought the only way I'm ever going to get ahead at doing this is to have a tool.
Hmm.
What would be the ultimate tool? I think it would be software. Um, Dale, in his book, talks about a common language.
Hmm.
And to his credit, he mentions in the book the way that people get ahead and crafts and hobbies and endeavors get ahead is they develop a way of communicating. Anytime you're left in isolation, you have to reinvent your wheel.
Hmm.
When you've got a common language to describe common concepts,
Yep.
that's when you can build upon, the shoulders of giants and
Sure.
follow in footsteps without having to reinvent it.
Yeah.
So I looked at what he described as a common language, and I thought, man, that's a computer program right there.
There you go.
So um, I started practicing in my spare time. I got access to um, a programming language called Visual Basic,
Hmm.
and I was not a particularly good programmer, but I was determined, and I played and I played and I practiced and I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and step by step worked out what I could do. The first thing I did was drew a straight line on the screen, and I thought that can represent a thread,
Yep.
and it all grew from there. You know, so um, it got to the stage where, as I'm adding more features, I'm thinking, oh, that's great, but what it really needs is a 3D viewer, and what it really needs is the ability to print true to size, and what it also needs is the ability to change colors, and one feature led to the other.
Right.
It's as if I started with an idea of what the whole software needed to be because there was nothing to base it on. There
Yep.
was no existing software that I was aware of that I could copy or use as a reference.
There's still
These,
not. I mean, this is it. Yeah.
yeah. So I took the concepts that Dale presented. I massaged them into what I thought was needed. Um, Used my limited experience in building rods myself
Hmm.
to come up with what I thought was needed. And happy to say that 20 something years later, it's still going strong. It amazes me that software that I launched in 2002, today in 2024, is still viable.